Hello everyone, welcome to today's videocast stroke podcast. I'm your host Momo and I'm going to be elaborating on a recent Medium article I published. I published it yesterday. That was the 23rd of January, and it's titled Creating a New Service or Offer, Don't Pivot or Upskill Until You Look Backwards. Okay, before I kick things off, I just want to quickly explain the choice of format for today and what's happening in the future. So I'm doing a videocast podcast video today, mainly because I don't have the equipment to do a facing. That doesn't really make sense. A front facing proper YouTube video. I've tried, but the phone I have at the moment isn't adequate, and the alternatives to it just aren't working for me at this moment. So I've decided against trying to put together a video until the quality is there. So when I have better equipment and a better setting, because I also don't really have a suitable recording environment, when those things are in place, we'll have proper videos with my face. So for better or for worse, you're going to be hearing my voice only and some sort of image accompanying. So, it's also a quick explanation of what Momo Review is. Some of you may know me as Pillars of Progress from Twitter and from YouTube. I rebranded recently. The main reason was I didn't feel that Pillars of Progress was personal enough. I feel like the pillars part's been overused too much. So that's it, really. I just wanted to be more personal. I wanted to interject myself into this completely. I feel like it's going to take a lot of the strain of what do you do, how do you brand. It's very easy if you just use yourself. And okay, admittedly, Momo isn't my real name, but it's the name I use online for everything from gaming to various other things. So that's why I'm using Momo. The channel itself, the website for Momo Review is where I'm going to host all of my content. So any podcast I do, any YouTube video, any article I write, Medium articles, it's all going to go there. And that website links to my newsletter. And obviously, my Twitter account is a big part of that system as well. So everything is going to feed into that website. It's not spectacular, but I made it, so what can you do? It's as good as it's going to get. And it's been fun putting together, which is something I did not expect. Anyway, so today we are going to talk about this is all around client offers. So if you are in a position where you want to create a service and you want to get clients, the article is specifically about that. So we'll go through I'm going to link the article in the description below. You can go through it at your own leisure. But that is the crux of my argument, is that instead of trying to start from scratch completely, you should look backwards to your previous jobs, experiences, and any projects and qualifications you've done in the past. And I'll explain why. So we'll begin with the problem with starting from scratch. So this is I do use this example in the article. What happened at the back end of last year, I decided that I'd done some work in creating additional revenue streams. It was time to start trying to get some client work. So my first inclination was coaching. I'd started off on Twitter sort of doing affiliate marketing advice, and it didn't really hit as I wanted to. I got some advice from a few wiser, more experienced Twitter accounts that basically said your account's extremely generic. basically I was trying just a part of a very over used subject matter. So I decided to lean into productivity because I was, as a busy parent, a lot of my time was spent trying to find ways of getting more out of my working hours wherever possible. So I thought, this is stuff I'm doing. You talk about what you do, really. So I leaned into the sort of productivity niche, and from there, I think the natural progression is always going to be coaching. That's where it seems to tumble into. So I thought, that's great. I've done business consultancy in the past. I have some successes I can talk about. I'll do that. I'll do coaching. But I still was essentially starting from scratch, and I hit some roadblocks. I wasn't able to get any momentum going with regards to testimonials or proof of my concept. And I came to a point where I thought, this feels like I'm trying to reinvent the wheel. And more importantly, I'd like to make money now. So I came to the decision, I thought, why am I consistent? Why am I trying to do things from scratch? Why don't I just look at my previous skills? Surely there's something I can do that they get clients. And it wasn't difficult. I mean, I was actually literally still have a constant content writing client. I do occasional copywriting jobs. There you go. It was pretty simple. I had to go back into doing copywriting and content writing, and that's where the offer will eventually come from. At the moment, I'm just building up the sort of background to do that with regards to things like a portfolio website and working on pitching and all of the stuff that goes with it. So, the problem with starting from scratch: time, effort, upskilling, investing in upskilling, the loss of potential earnings in between, reliance on people giving you testimonials, and the risk of your concept not working. You could spend a lot of time starting something completely new only to find out in 3 or 6 months' time, actually, it's not working. Nobody wants a service, or I've overestimated the need for the service, or I'm just not able to find the clients I need. Qualified clients will ones that are willing to pay good money. So there's a saying you'll hear a lot, especially from my Twitter people: follow your curiosity. Now, I 100% agree with it. Not in this specific example, though. I think that following your curiosity can actually lead you into a lot of dead ends and a lot of wasted time when you're trying to create a client service. Instead, I think you should look backwards. So, just to reiterate, curiosity is great, but I think it's better for content creation purposes rather than client services. So, that's the whole build it and they will come thing from Field of Dreams. Works great in films, but it's an uphill. Sorry, I'll correct myself there. It's an uphill battle in real life to actually do that. So you can start from scratch. I'm not saying you shouldn't rule it out, but you just have to realize there's a significant time implication to factor in. If you want clients straight away, you have to utilize the assets you already have. And the big clue here is you are your biggest asset. So, with that in mind, your CV or resume, depending on where you're from in the world, you need to extract your past experience and skills. I guarantee when you start doing this, you'll look back and think, how did I forget about this? I can't believe that I haven't included this. Because the problem is when we have a win, or if we do something that's successful, sometimes we're so determined to get to the next step, we overlook it. We breeze over the wins. And a lot of the time, if it was part of your job, you just think, well, yeah, it was part of my job. It's like then it was, but now it's a transferable skill. It's something that can stand you ahead of other people because you've had real life experience of doing something. You can transfer it into a client service you're going to do now. And especially if you're looking to specialize in something. For example, if you're doing copywriting and for whatever reason you have a background in pharmaceuticals or engineering, you can put yourself ahead of the game by going, hey, actually, I've got 10 years in this field. I'm now a copywriter. You then are going to be the natural first choice for people who need copywriting in those sectors. And every sector needs copywriting, just in case you're thinking about a career in something. Okay, so another thing you can do is reframe some experiences and duties and job roles, and we're going to turn them into testimonials. Another bonus tip, you can actually land some freelance work by getting back in touch with your professional circle and your personal one. You might have a cool boss, a former boss, bosses, but you might also have ones that you don't want to get in touch with again, which is fine. We all have that knobhead former boss. So you think about your former colleagues. They might have moved on, they might have been promoted, they could be in a position where they're hiring. So never discount your old networks, because you can get in touch with them and say, hi, I'm actually now freelancing now. I wondered if you'd be able to help me out with a testimonial for the time we worked together. This is how I'd need it to look because of what I'm now going to do. They could turn around and say, that's great. Oh, right, yeah, copywriting now. That's handy. I'm actually looking for a copywriter. This has happened to me, and I've heard it happen to virtually every single new copywriter I've spoken to. They get in touch with people and they say, wow, actually that's quite good timing because I need a copywriter. Never underestimate the power of updating your circle on your current, whatever you're doing currently. Okay, so there's another aspect I want you to think about, which happens with curiosity and following it. We're all guilty of underselling the stuff that we've done and concentrating on things that don't move us forward. Do you need to buy that new course? Do you need to hire that expensive coach now? Okay, I do want to note something. I'm not bashing upskilling or coaching. They're both valid, and especially when it comes to a good coach, they can propel your career and they can accelerate it to the next level. But you always have to check your motivations before you are going to invest anything, whether that's financial or time. You might have a solid business network you can talk to now if you need to bounce ideas. You probably already have courses and products gathering dust, and they are still legit, they're still perfectly usable. A recent example I can attest to is I went back over a copywriting course that I took, the Comprehensive Copywriting Academy, and I decided to start from scratch. And it was a very good decision because I'm very rusty in certain types of copywriting, and I skipped over a few topics. Clearly, I didn't realize it, but I breezed over the ones I thought weren't what I needed at that time. So I'm going to go over it more thoroughly this time. So I do mention in the article two things that I'll cover in future pieces of content. One is USPs, which is unique selling point, and niches. So I will talk about that more in a future article because it links directly into this subject. And I'll also discuss something called backcasting, which essentially is hopping in a time machine, going to the future, getting to the point where you've actually already achieved your goal, and then working backwards to work out what the logical steps are between the present day and that time. So they're going to be two pieces of content that I'll make soon to accompany this. Okay, so that's it for today. I didn't want to go too in depth or have too long a video or podcast, whatever you want to call this. So I'm going to wrap things up to today. Please subscribe to this channel, and you can what do they say in all the videos? Hit the notification bell. Ha! There you go. I've never said that before. Subscribe, hit the notification, and you will get more content. eventually it will be better video content, I promise. I'm going to put a few links in the description. You'll get a link to join my Momo Write. That's a newsletter and email list. And when you get your welcome email, it'll ask you to choose a subject that you prefer. That's because I segment my content, so hopefully people get the stuff that they want and they can use, and they don't get the stuff that they don't want. So there's a link to the newsletter, there's a link to the Momo Reviews website, where I'll be hosting all my content. The original Medium article will be at the top of the description. Below it, I'm going to put my Twitter bio. Please follow me on Medium and Twitter as well. And that's it. I've been your host, Momo. I wish you all the best for the week ahead, and until next time, keep winning and go well. Cheers.